Morning.
Peter, did you want to?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm curious, understanding that there's things that need to get cleaned up from yesterday, but are you able to, when you watch the film, kind of step back and say there were some positives and some areas that you guys have been stressing and prioritizing, to be able to appreciate that, but also express that to the team so that they don't lose sight of some of the core principles that you're trying to build here and that they were processed.
When I got back to the office last night, I wasn't sure how I felt about, the game and how it could affect us, did affect us. And watching the film, the way the defense played under all of the challenges that they had, the aggressiveness, the consistency all the way throughout, the challenges of the sudden changes, I thought they were spectacular in that and putting forth a great effort. For us to come out of that game and run the football as well as we did, and protect the quarterback as well as we did, to see Ashton, you guys have all said it, everybody's been waiting for it, he just needs to break one run or whatever. Well, he did, and he had a great game, and he looked fantastic for us. And Raheem looked really good too. And I thought the two complemented well. And I thought Chip did a nice job of taking what was there in the running game, and it was a big game for us, So when I come out of away from watching the film last night, I saw nothing but upside, and because the ability to run the football, to have a running back that is a real threat, a running game that's a real threat, allows us so much balance, so much better chance for balance in what you present to your opponent, and that's what I've always been seeking. And I thought that was the first time it really felt like that, and I'm going with it. I'm going with it. We're going to continue to do the things that make a good football team, present themselves to your opponents, and you have to do all of those things well. And so it doesn't mean that you run the ball the whole game. It means that you have that opportunity when you get your chances that you can take advantage of it, and that feeds the play action game, and it keeps us out of dropping back, and adds to the protection, which it couldn't have been more classically demonstrated by no sacks. Gino ran the ball really well out of the pocket, got out of there. So all of that comes back to it's about the football. We gave the ball up too much, and it wasn't that they scored with it, because I think somebody said some stat about we've had a ton of turnovers here at Allegiant, and opponents have scored like 12 points off those turnovers. Whatever. Is that the right number?
It was 13 last night.
13 yesterday.
Yeah. So that just paints the picture of where we're capable of going. It happens to be 1-3, and I can't do nothing about that right now. But what we do going forward is build from this opportunity to be a balanced, well-presented, difficult defense to run the football at, a team that can stay on top and do those things right. Now, the other problem is we've had some issues in the kicking game that have been significant. Getting the game-winning block is significant. Before we weren't very good. The Washington game was really an outlier for how we played, and that's done also. But I think we can feel it. By the end of this meeting today, and by the time I get with our guys and show them what we're talking about, we're going to have a feeling of what we are going forward. Also, you're not asking any questions, so I'm just going to keep you asking. This was a really important game for us to demonstrate to ourselves what we are when we play at home, and the effort and the mentality and the willingness to hang with it no matter what happened was demonstrated. That's the mark of a team that I recognize and that I'm trying to build, and so I felt good about that stuff. And unfortunately, we lose by a point, so that's kind of what it felt like.
Pete,
Pete, in regards to Colton Miller, was it a high ankle sprain that he suffered, and are you anticipating him missing multiple weeks?
I don't have any updates on it, but and the MRI stuff is, I don't know if it's here yet. It hasn't been brought to me yet, but it possibly is. Yeah, we'll see what it's all about. They'll figure it out when they get the MRIs.
In regard to the office, and in case he is out for multiple games, where is Charles Grant at the development process, and his development process? And I know it's going to be between him and Stone Forsythe, but in regards to Grant, how do you confident if he has to go out there?
When you all of a sudden you face the chance of him starting, we got to make sure we take care of him through this process. He's capable of playing. He's done really well for us, but we'll look after him and giving him start. Stone's played a lot of football and done a nice job for us since he's been here, and he would be the first choice. But this is an opportunity for Charles to make a charge for it, and we'll see how he does. He's done really well so far. So we'll see what happens.
Pete, when you watched the film over, it looked like Gino was just trying to force things, just trying to make things happen. Is that an accurate assessment? And if so, okay.
No, that's not. No, he wasn't. No, he never tries to force things. So I'm using your words. He may force things, but in the case, he saw the safety, he read it. We practiced the looks in practice numerous times, and he thought the ball would get there. He thought he could beat the guy, and he didn't on either one of them. And so he knew exactly what happened, and he was committed to the throw, and he beat him all week long in practice, and he thought he had it. So that's what happened. And unfortunately, it came back and bit him again. It was a little bit of a different look, but the same concept, and then they got him. And he's a little bit of a hard head, and that he thought he could get it done because he prepared to get it done. So unfortunately, the rhythm is just a hair off of what it had been in practice, and so they make a big play on us. So the bootleg pass that he throws back in, he throws millions of those, and it's a tremendous play by the guy to undercut the Jacoby on that one. So he wouldn't throw that one again. He would say no. Probably the other pass that was really a crucial one was the one to Dante. The crosser down in there. That was a really big play opportunity for us. We walk in the end zone probably on that one, and the ball was low. He's got to make the catch, but he's got to throw a better ball too. And I think when you talk to Gino and you talked to him yesterday, he ain't backing away from nothing. He'll tell you exactly, that he was responsible and he needs to make the play and come through and do that for us. He knows that, and so that allows us to move forward together and make progress. So unfortunately, those numbers were just outrageous for us, and particularly a team that has it on their wall it's all about the ball. For us to give it up like that was unfortunate. What I wanted to say about what happened with the turnovers, because the defense responded so well, is we lost our chances to score when the offense was out there. More so than what they did with it when they took it away from us is took us out of 3 drives, and not making our fourth, that took us out of a 4th drive. So we scored 24 points anyway. So we might have been on board for big numbers on that day had we not done that.
On the back end of that, when you do have a veteran guy like Gino, who you're very comfortable with, would you say easier to kind of give him words of affirmation and kind of critique him on certain things versus kind of having to build up a younger quarterback? You have somebody that you're very
I'm not worried about his confidence. No, he knows, and he has to reevaluate, the timing of the choice, and that wasn't. He was too comfortable in the throw. He ripped both those throws, feeling like the ball's going to get there. And that's what I'm concerned about. Is I'm going to make sure we're practicing him, and so that he understands that some of those throws aren't there. He hits everything in practice. And he's ridiculously accurate, and has been the whole time we've been together. And so he's really confident. And so he thought he could get it, and game speed was a little bit different. So that's where he grows. The game speed is a little bit different than the practice that we can create, and some of those choices go to checkdowns.
Pete, when it comes to Raheem Morse, would he be kind of like your second running back option moving forward, or how would that competition between him and Samir White play out?
I really like the way Rob ran in this game, and we're going to see him again next week. He deserves another chance to stay with it. It's been a competition, just like we've been typically talking about the whole time, and Raheem hasn't done anything that we didn't like up until now. It was really about special teams and some other choices with Zamir, and so those guys are battling that. But I want to see Raheem again this next week.
Peter, go ahead.
For Jack Bash, I believe he only had 5 offensive snaps yesterday. What's going to take coming?
He just needs more. I've already addressed that one. That we just need to get him out there more. He's in rotations and all that just didn't get him enough snaps. So he's capable of playing more snaps than he should.
On the blocked field goal, I think Jonah was in there probably for Michael Mayer. Michael Mayer normally plays that position. That, and then also, it sounded like the Bears had made mention of maybe that Jacob was tipping in a little something.
Yeah, that's we've looked at all that, and we don't see what he's talking about. But good for him. It was a great play. It was a great play. Whatever he keyed on.
We've talked about JPJ a lot. I just want to ask about his hustle plays to get Byard down on what could have been a pick 6 and also make another tackle on the interception. What did you just see from him and the effort he gave?
That's I'm glad you saw that, because he played with terrific effort, played tough as hell yesterday, really went for it, knowing that, he's competed too, and which it brought out a really bright side of his strengths. He's tough, he's physical. When he got his chances, he came to me in a couple big plays, on those, but he also made some really good blocks and did a nice job for us, and the running game really popped, and so, he deserves a chance to go again.
As somebody who maybe watched Max Crosby from afar before you got here, to see him and what he does on the field all over the place in person, does even that impress you?
Yeah, I can't believe we've been here for 10 minutes and haven't even really, his play is just crazy good. If you think about it, this is what I've been impressed, because I've been here, through the preseason with him. He did those same things in preseason. Every time he's been on the field, he makes things happen, and he's doing it with limited opportunities, because he's getting doubled all the time in pass pro, and the ball's going away from him the whole time in the games. They're running away from him, but he makes plays on the backside, and if you challenge him, he's been there. I mean, he's all over the football, and almost had 2 picks. This was his first pick he ever got. I'm shocked at that, because he just seems like he should have had more in the same circumstances. The perimeter passing game, he's eliminating it by himself, by knocking the balls down and challenging the quarterback. So, but the best part about it, that's who Max is, and you guys know, because you're around him, you listen to him, you hear him, and how consistent he is about his approach to the game and all of that. It's just should be as celebrated as you can make it, because he's the real deal, and it's a joy to watch him work, joy to watch him play, and you don't know what's going to happen next. He's got a little bit of unpredictability about in a lot of areas of his life, and it's a wonderful attribute that comes through in his play and for his teammates and all of that. So couldn't be more proud of him.
There might be like no correlation at all, but would you say maybe him getting moved back in coverage a little bit off the line of scrimmage this season? You think that might help a little bit more with his vision, being able to time the ball and getting that interception?
Well, I do think, if you notice, we're moving him around quite a bit, and he's been really open to it. We drop it once in a while. We do some things with him, because he's just available to make things happen. It fits him, and he doesn't have to rush the passer from the left side the whole time to be Max Crosby. He can do a lot of stuff, and so we're going to continue to do that and be creative with it. And he's such a natural athlete that things come easy to him, So he'll make plays in coverage. He had a coverage drop where he was going to sack the quarterback, which was, it can happen there too, and the quarterback did a nice job, got rid of the football. But he's just been very effective in everything we're doing. We'll keep moving around, hopefully make it hard on the opponents.
Just overall, what have you liked about the defensive line, how they played through 4 weeks?
Yeah, the running game has really been in hand. What happened in the Commanders thing that got us off out of whack a little bit, but we're playing the running game as well as anybody right now. And Jonah's doing a really good job. Thomas Booker's doing a really nice job. All of the guys, Malcolm's given his contribution on the edge, so they're all contributing to it. And then we play pretty big and strong with our linebackers too. Those guys are a big part of that as well. So I'm really pleased with that. It's where you start on deep ball and up front in the running game on defense, and our guys they're giving us that kind of performance right now. We're going to have to build on it. We're going to need it throughout. So everything that's already happened is already gone. It's what you're going to do now that counts.
Pete, could you please discuss what you saw from Tyree when you watched the film?
Yeah, he played tough again, and he got caught up on a rush that stands out, where we really had a big chance for another big play with Max coming off the backside from him. But he's made some tough plays. He's playing physical, and I think he's adding a lot to us.
Well, Michael Mayer is any update on where he is with
I
the
don't have any update, but there's a really good chance he'll be back. He felt pretty good at the end of the week.
What did you think of Ashton Genty going back to his original college stance in the backfield?
I loved it. I loved it.
You guys good? Yeah. Okay. Thanks.